Let's push that button and go live. Looks like, hey, guess what? We are live. I'm gonna wait for it to kick over here just so I can see it on my screen. Should be going on any second now. Yeah, we're getting seeing the numbers pop in already. And if people are just jumping on here, tell us who you are and where you're coming in from. Yep, there we go.
Tell us why token go up.
Why token go up? So excited! Thanks for jumping on here. Make a comment down. So thank you guys, everybody, guys, ladies, everybody for jumping on here kind of last minute. Didn't give you guys much of a notice to be on here, but if you don't mind here at the beginning, before we get started, go ahead and tell us who you are, where you're calling in from or watching from, whether it's on the Facebook. I got it pumped out on Facebook. Typically I have a way more people on my YouTube channel because it's I got a lot more subscribers on there. Yeah, Woot Hoot, who's that? Okay, I missed Heather. I got a bunch of things coming in. Hi, Heather from Minnesota. Who we got here? They're starting to pop in real quick. Lisa from Philly. Uncle Joe, what's up? Tom. Let me see if I can get all these in here. Delvin. Dead is all green. Daggone right, dead is all green.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. Let me double check that.
There's a Facebooker. All right, Randy, thanks for jumping on from Facebook. We got Toronto. Hey, and if you'd like, you can share this. Feel free to share it with your friends. Forward it. If you want to get on some of the notifications, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel. Daryl Wilson, what's up, man? I think I clicked your button here. Mel from Florida. I'm trying to keep up. Sometimes the comments speed right by when I'm trying to click them. I got some more from Facebook coming in. Awesome. YouTube in the house. Suzanne Parker, what's up? Jeanette. Wow, awesome. I'm only going to take probably about another minute or two. Just kind of let everybody jump on here. Debtbox, go to the moon. Daggone right, Debtbox, go to the moon. Absolutely. And I might pop some of these in here more than once because I'm trying to click through them as fast as possible. Excellent. Thank you. What's up? Mike Sauls. Southern California. That's where that was. Gail from Georgia. We are rolling it in. Excellent. Got a lot of people jumping on here. Fantastic. If you guys want to let somebody know in the Telegram channels, we can do that too as well. If you guys want to just say, hey, we're live, they can do that. South Dakota. Excellent. Welcome. Why token up? I knew someone who's going to say, why token up? Oh, that's you, Terry. I know. Ain't no party like a Debtbox party.
I like
Uncle
it.
Joe, looking good, gents. Thank you. Excellent. All right. So, you know what? I'm one of those punctual guys, and I usually go to about 3 minutes after. And so let me go ahead and just take that banner down real quick so I can make sure we got a clean slate here. Well, first off, everybody, let's say hi to my gents here. We got a lot of great things to go over with you tonight. My name's Mike Healy. I kind of just have the host on here. I like how our heads are all diagonal right here. So look up. There we go. Anyhow, the OCD will kick in, so I'm gonna have to kick it off into a different screen. But I got myself, I got Jason Bowdle on here and Terry Tillert, and I wanted to let you guys know what's nice about having Jason and Terry on here is they're in a private Telegram group that a lot of the debt guys are in, the debt council and Jason Anderson and stuff like that, and they share a lot of really great private information. And so I've been really picking these guys' brains, and that's why I invited them on here tonight to kind of share some stuff with you, because if nobody's paying attention, I'm going to blow this completely up on the full screen here. Debt token go up. Token go up. We got green candles out the wazoo. And what's the percentage, Terry? I think you posted, or Jason, recently.
Mike, you might want to refresh that because it's up higher than that now.
This is a screenshot. I know it's higher than this. It's I just have a screenshot on here. I don't have my screen being shared, but what is it at right now?
We're at 1565 is what I have here, and we're up 100 and almost 150% for the month.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's insane, Jason. We were talking about this I think you were just answering some basic questions I had down at Punta Cana probably 5, 6 months ago. I was just kind of learning crypto and asking you guys questions. I mean, we knew we were going to get to this point, and we had that little bump in the road with the SEC thing that now seems like we're getting, kind of coming out on the other side of that. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I think it's just going to ramp up and speed up much quicker than we anticipated, just with the plans and the new things moving forward, how we're going to be able to lock up our debt token, and all these outside projects that are getting ready to launch the L2 chain. It's going to bring in some massive buying power, and it's just going to raise prices on every project across the board. So really exciting times we're in right now. It's been a rough 3-4 months.
Rough.
And I think 2024 is going to be a whiplash.
Absolutely. Cedric Harris, what's up? Awesome. I saw Cedric says hi, guys. And let me put some more up here. Diane Dahl, I got you. All right. So let's I'm gonna separate us out a little bit here. So real quick, before we do anything, I got to do one more thing. Is hold on a second. Since we're talking about crypto, I do want to put out a disclaimer here that crypto products and NFTs are unregulated. It can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss for transactions. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. Views, opinions, and claims expressed are intended for training purposes only or entertainment purposes. Personal experiences or results may vary. The recommendations, strategies, and claims set forth on this video are not meant to represent how well you will do or guarantee expressly implicitly your success. And we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, tax advice. Okay, so I wanted to make sure we were clear on that first and foremost, because right now crypto is still kind of the wild, wild west. Even though what we're going into, it's almost its 10th, 12th year when Bitcoin started. Who Terry, you probably know better than I do on that one. When did they launch this crypto stuff?
Yeah, we're 14 years in, which is really exciting because if you look at any historical tech adoption curves, it takes about 17 years before magically, it's like a switch turns on night and day. All of a sudden that, it's become adopted, it's mainstream, it's accepted, it's everywhere. But the good news is crypto's on an adoption curve that's twice as fast as the internet or cell phones. So while it's still not as mainstream as it coulda, woulda, shoulda, at least here in North America, it certainly is in some other countries. You've got countries like Nigeria that have over 70% adoption rates, and they're not alone. Give it a few more years, and we're really going to take off. Listening to a podcast today by two very, very, very highly respected gentlemen, macroeconomists, banksters, crypto VC fund type guys, and they said they think that this bull cycle right here, we're finally going to go shoot up all the way into a minimum of 1 billion wallet adoption, which is insane.
That's just crazy. Hey, real quick, because I brought this up and I have it on a slide. I want to make sure I show this. It's this. So I mentioned that Terry and Jason are part of some Telegram groups, and some of the information that's actually shared in that Telegram group, they can share publicly. And there is a Jason and Terry are the hosts of this, kind of the admins. There's a few other people of the Debt Army Insider Info Telegram channel. And if you want to screenshot this, you're welcome to, because obviously if you're watching this on your computer, you can just it's a QR code. You just pull up your camera like you're taking a picture of that, and it will identify that code. Okay, so you guys know that. I'll pull this up again at the end when I go through the final slides on here. Don't have a lot of slides tonight, but I just have a few just to keep me on track here. So let's real quick, let's cover some housekeeping, I guess you could say, because some of the stuff that we have is we're now at the time crunch area that everybody needs to know about what's going on. And I'm actually going to pop this up real quick. So what we have here is there's a thing called the mnemonic phrase, right, that everybody needs to know about. And the mnemonic phrase is your 12 seed word phrase that is basically your crypto keys to your wallet. Jason, without giving names, I need people, because this is so significant and important, to understand how important it is to have it and really important to protect it. Go ahead and elaborate on this, because we need to scare the pants off of some people so they're paying attention, because we don't want mistakes out there that can really wreck a family.
Yeah, 100%. What I always share with people is, check your seed word phrase, write it down on 3 or 4 different papers, different at different times, just to make sure your words are spelled correctly. They're in order, because if you lose these 6 seed words, your entire account could be lost. So I just like to share the story of my girlfriend. She wrote her seed words down 3 times incorrectly, and she was locked out of her account for 2 weeks. And she found a 4th page that she wrote her seed words down, and she realized that one of the words she wrote down was grown instead of gown. So if she hadn't wrote it down that 4th time, she basically would have lost her entire account. So one of the single most important things to make sure you do not lose, and it is correct.
If somebody just randomly emails you and says, hey, we're from XYZ company, we want to protect your account, give us your 12 seed word phrase, should that be done?
No, sir. You are the only one that should have your 12 seed words, and you never want to give it out to anyone. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, if someone does reach out to you, or if you're uncertain of if your seed word should be entered, please reach out to someone before you make the mistake. We had a friend that lost his entire portfolio just on Saturday because he received an email from Ledger, and it was basically stating, last chance to enable your 2FA. He clicked the link, typed in his seed words, and his entire account was drained. So very important.
And it was a lot of money. So you told me the story. It's pretty bad that happened. So okay, so let me pull up which one I got to make sure I got the right ones on here. Okay, so we're doing that now. Last thing, everybody should know this: you've got pretty much minutes to, if you haven't removed your reward tokens from your Debtbox that are in the rewards area, and just transfer them into your wallet. Okay, so just so you know, that time frame is pretty much done at the end of today. Now, what happens if somebody doesn't get their tokens taken out of there by today? Do you guys remember that? Terry, remember what? Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, just these tokens are going to be vaulted, basically put away in an escrow account, if you will. You are going to get one last chance to get them. It'll probably be a fairly narrow window. If you're the type of person who doesn't pay very close attention to these things, there's a good chance if you miss this window, after all of the warnings that have been here, you're probably going to miss the next window, aka your tokens will be burned, evaporated forever. They will be disappeared, gone, can't get them back. And, I also wanted to add one other comment about that. Like, the really great thing about crypto is that we are finally 100% in control and 100% in custody of our assets, right? Unlike the banking world. The bad news about that is most people are adults in birth certificate only, right? Not in behavior and personal responsibility and stuff like that. If you lose, by the way, as Debtbox goes into L1 and gets fully decentralized, there is no more debt support. There is no more emails. There is no more 2FA. The logins are changing. There only is seed phrases, and there are important deadlines. And we knew before anyone started this that there would be deadlines and there would be changes, and the L1 was coming. This was a conversation for the entire year. The idea that if anyone got in their heads that there was nothing that they would ever have to do is very juvenile and naive, and it's going to become a very painful tax if you do not pay attention. And why would you not be paying attention to something so huge, so life-altering, that can not only change your family's trajectory, but also change the trajectory of millions of people around the world? So EU sponsible is not a joke. And you want to have your seed phrases, you want to get them in metal, you want to get them in fireproof boxes, you might want to have them at separate locations. But lots of different security stuff we could talk about there, but I just want to make sure that we're just super clear. If your tokens are not moved, they're gone, and it's your fault. You've been warned for 2 months straight, right? And there's been umpteen warnings.
And And somebody, just to clarify this, Heather said deadline's actually at the end of cycle tomorrow, isn't it? Question mark. I
Yes,
have
sir.
one person. You are correct, Heather.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just trying to put emphasis on so that I don't receive any more phone calls, but it's still going to come in. So, yeah, 5 o'clock Mountain Time tomorrow. Thanks, Kyle. So yeah, we got that answered. And I don't want to make fun of people that weren't paying attention, but I'm going to at this point, because it's like, if you can't call me and make your lack of preparation my emergency. It won't happen, right? Like, it's because I'm a business guy, you guys are business people. You can't, this is stuff you have to take serious. This is something you have to protect. This is a real asset, that kind of thing. You are welcome, Heather, no problem. Okay, so let me I gotta pop that slide up one more time. Yeah, let's just talk about this, and then we'll probably expand on this one. Okay, so consider creating additional wallets for security purposes. Who wants to tackle that one real quick?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll just take the first point is that at minimum for now, until the next phases come, until announcements come, at least mirror your wallet. The debt wallet is not going to work. It is not Wallet Connect compatible, and that is the only way to access V2. But Jay, I'll let you talk about the additional wallets and stuff. I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, so we're most of us are starting off with at least 4 wallets minimum, and those with larger accounts are doing up to 10 different wallets, and it's super quick and simple to create additional wallets. A lot of us are mainly using the SafePal app now, the SafePal wallet app. It has some really cool features as far as sending tokens, NFTs back and forth. So I think the biggest thing right now is just focus on, like Terry suggested, getting your seed words implemented into SafePal, and at least create 3 more additional wallets. And just keep in mind too, when you do create the new wallets, make sure you label it. Like I've been doing debt 1, debt 2, debt 3, debt 4. And please make sure that the wallet name is corresponding with the correct seed words as you write it down. So just make sure never to screenshot it, to take a picture. And yeah.
And speaking of that, we're gonna have, like, on the Telegram channel, the Telegram channel, we'll put some of that stuff in there that have directions. Like, just so you guys know, one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to share this information as we're getting it. That's why I'm on here kind of, quizzing these guys to share stuff that questions come up for me. And then we're going to have we'll have videos that'll come out. Debtbox will have videos that come out. People that are educated on this will put videos out so that you don't get left behind. You don't get run over. I know sometimes you feel kind of confused. This is how I'm going to pull up. I'm going to totally change subjects here. This is how I feel when I'm explaining crypto to people and how I think they'll hear it. Sorry, I just had to do that. That was, I saw that video a couple of days ago, and I told my wife I was going to make a meme out of it. But that's a lot of times how people feel when they're hearing this stuff for the first time. Totally understand. So we're going to make sure that you get educated on this stuff. So we'll be good to go with that. So let's keep going here. Okay. Also, just so you know, if you're ever in any groups, we kind of touched on this a second ago, anybody offering, if you don't know who they are, don't be just randomly taking advice from them. Double, triple check, that kind of thing. And again, 12 words, your seed phrases should never be shared with anybody. Okay. So you guys ready to turn this up a notch? I think it's time. Okay. I think we're kind of getting to the point. We're going to talk about staking. And then we'll get to that debt thing. I'm going to pull all you guys up. We're going to go close screen on you guys. Okay. So back in August, let's touch on some pain points and potentially get to the other side of it. Back in August, we were all pretty fired up about these projects that had come out. We were starting to get educated on this thing called Debtbox, which stood for Decentralized Eco-Friendly Blockchain Technology. Their whole thing was tokenizing real-world commodities, turning them into nodes/licenses, and things were on really picking up speed. Like we really were picking up speed over the year we were going into it. And then there were some accusations that were brought against debt, and they were vicious and brutal, and they were brought on by people in the Utah SEC area, Securities and Exchange Commission. If you're watching overseas, it's what regulates investing and stuff like that here in the United States. And they did a thing called a what was a TRO, which is stands for temporary restraining order. I had to look it up because I didn't know what that meant. And Terry, you saw this happen, and we all watched. The token prices were just kind of hanging steady, and then it just went off a cliff, because, and rightfully so, because everybody got scared. Everybody didn't know what to do. We all, everybody was like, I got to pull money out. This is bad, because you just assume that the government's got your best interest in mind. Right.
I've never assumed that before. But
I'm kidding. I say that tongue in cheek and just put a cigarette in my eye if I'm telling the truth. And that happened. Well, we really didn't know. But what was really cool to me was, of all the people that communicated with me and the people that we had known that had, made purchases of these licenses to just get them the rewards potentially, because it was all speculation. It was all, nothing was ever guaranteed. Nothing was ever put out there that, there's ROI. None of that was ever, that I know of, that I ever mentioned any of the language, any of the lingo we had. And this happened. But what was nice is collectively, a lot of people continued to educate and see where we were at. And we finally, it was almost 2 months before even Jason or Joe Martinez or any of all the people that were named in that lawsuit even squeaked a little bit of information out. And Terry, I know this is right up your alley for fun. What happened a few weeks ago after we saw, because you read every document that has come out, every transcript, because they transcribe these things, because these are public. This is public information. You can look it up yourself. You do not have to take our word for it. It could be completely rumor for what we're saying. Do your due diligence. Look at what is in the documentation. And Terry, what happened and where are we at? And then we're going to start talking about where we're going.
Right. So I did read every word of everything that was put out, and I'm not a securities lawyer, but I'm not blind and naive when it comes to the law. I can make good sense of these things by reading them quick, and it clicks. And if I don't know something, I look it up, right? So basically what happened a couple weeks ago, in layman's terms, is the judge once again reiterated the fact that he saw lots of lying done by the SEC, and he's not tolerating it any longer. And he had asked them for evidence on October 6th, and nothing has come forward during that time frame. And I think he's literally at the end of his rope. So he came out a couple weeks ago-ish and said, this is a deadline. You have a deadline to produce evidence to prove to me that you did not lie, or we will sanction you. What are sanctions? Everybody wants to know that. There's lots of speculation about it and no perfect answer. But if you go look on legal blogs, legal briefs, legal websites, things that universities have published, talk to any lawyers, they'll tell you that a sanction could run the gamut of a wide variety of things. It could be disbarring of the lawyers. It could be paying all the damages to the accused. It could be disbarment in the state. It could be a loss of a job. It could be jail time. It could be criminal prosecution. It could be a pretty big umbrella of things going on. I don't think we're going to get to criminal prosecution, but I don't think it's improbable, right? Certainly not guaranteed, but I don't think it's improbable that some of these lawyers lose their licenses. And I don't think it's improbable that on some level they are going to be forced to pay damages. I think the question becomes, or at least just in my personal opinion, my personal mind, is are those personal damages going to be properly accounted for or not? Fast forward, the regional office of the SEC, everyone who was involved with that case got fired, at least off of this case. Whether they lost their jobs or not has not been brought into the public light at this point, but that wouldn't surprise me. And now the national office has stepped in. They filed for a 1-week extension. I was very miffed that the government, the judge did grant it. but that ends on Thursday, and we are already Tuesday night. Now, from my just personal opinion, to me, it's insane. If you had evidence and nothing to hide, I would never wait till the absolute last minute to file, because that's just a really bad look. But it looks like they're going to wait till Thursday, and a lot of exciting things could happen. There's going to be massive PR no matter what happens, right? Like in my books, massive PR is going to ensue, because all eyes of crypto are on this case at this point, right? And so many crypto cases are involved, so many lawyers are involved. They've got big online presences. They're going to dissect everything the SEC says, whether the judge makes a ruling or not, and they're going to send that out. If the judge dismisses the case with prejudice at that time, which in my mind, I'm an optimist, I think that's very possible and plausible. I don't see why he should hear them out if they're lying and caught to the point that they feel they need to sanction them. There's no reason to hear out the case. But in the event that doesn't happen, January 17th is a securities case. And the number one lawyer for the SEC just finished his 1-year non-compete clause and has just joined the Debtbox team. So it could get very interesting if it did go to court. So I'll pause there. I hope that wasn't too long.
No, that was perfect. And like Terry was saying, there's probably over 200 mainstream publications. We're talking big crypto organizations have posted information about this. Like, it's, believe it or not, it's been a blessing in disguise, because who knows what kind of work we would have had to do to kind of educate people on who debt was, what it was all about. And it just exploded, because when you have a federal judge literally rip the SEC a new one, and you can read the transcript of it, and basically he was mad at the fact that they pulled him off of vacation to put in what was it called, ex parte TRO, which means basically emergency TRO, like forced this judge to come off vacation because they said debt was doing so much fraudulent stuff that they had to lock up all the assets and everything. And then when they laid out the stuff of like the bank accounts, they said they were taking bank account money and sending it overseas, when it was the banks that they'd stopped because of certain things, and it wasn't what they did. And they caught them red-handed, like over and over and over, like multiple things, like 20 some things just in the one document that they put out. And so we're now, I think, seeing the tide turn in the fact that, one, no matter what, they even without the lies, what they accused that to begin with wasn't accurate, because that's not what it was. You're seeing I think a big rally now in the crypto community behind all assets in the crypto space, and the decentralization of currencies and things like that, just to really give the people a little more freedom with it. And it's been really exciting. Jason, you and I talked about this a bunch of times, because I called you. You didn't know anything. I didn't really know anything. We were trying to get I would call him and say, hey, you hear anything? Let me know. Next day, texting, you hear anything? No. Then Terry, you hear anything? No. And then we'd get little dribs. And then recently we've gotten some amazing things, that I think we're on the other side of this in a good way. And they're situated perfectly for, that's probably the reason why debt tokens are starting to gather some steam, because people are doing a little research. I think people are starting to see this and they're understanding it. Jason, what's your 2 cents on all this?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting times right now. It was tough because from what we heard, the SEC has caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. And so, I was thinking, how long? 400 million. 400 million. And I was just thinking, how long is that going to take to rebuild? And now, we're seeing the debt token price with all this news that's been out, and we're getting recognized, and there's some big things coming down the pipeline, where we could stake our debt token, which basically locks it up for 12 months. And as you can see with what the market's doing right now, that people are gearing up for that. And
we're going to talk about that right now, because that's a perfect segue. Oops, I pushed the wrong one. This is where we need to go now, because now we got to vent. That was fun. Right. We got a little off our chest. Jason, I'm gonna let you lead into this one because I'm gonna read this in case people are listening to it while they're driving or something. So here's what's really amazing about this ecosystem, that what they're putting together is unlike anything. Like, it's been a blessing in disguise because they decided that no one was going to purchase these licenses. Like, any other time you would mine crypto of any kind, you basically would buy a license from somebody. You would buy the rights to have the node, which is the action of it making tokens, and you were rewarded in the tokens based on whatever that crypto project was. And Jason said, all right, well, we'll just open this window up to everybody. We'll open it up to the world. And he started giving away the licenses to people to convert to NFTs, which stands for non-fungible token. You might want to look up a YouTube video, because I had to, and I had to watch like 6 of them to figure out what that really meant. And we're going into the future. And Jason, here's where I'm going to read this now. It says on this slide I got pulled up, if you stake or lock up one debt token for 12 months on the new V2, which is version 2, you'll be gifted one NFT or license per project for the whole year. So if there was 12 projects, that would equal 12 free. And basically you would just have to pay the minting fee of that, which is they've stated it's probably going to stay to $25. Jason, how significant is that?
I think it's going to be huge for the ecosystem, because when you stake cryptocurrency, for example, you lock
Explain staking just real quick, because I skipped that slide.
Yep.
For anybody just getting up to speed on this.
Yeah, so a lot of the wallets and exchanges have staking options with different cryptocurrencies out there. So you can basically stake your tokens that you have for an X amount of time, whether that's 180 days, 12 months, and in return, you get paid a percentage. So similar deal here, from what I understand with the new debt staking, the debt token staking that's coming out, we'll be able to lock up 5 debt tokens per wallet. And in return, like Mike stated, we get 5 free licenses of any project that launches. So that's basically the rewards that we'll receive for staking the debt token. And I mean, just imagine when all these, layer 2 projects launch, it could be in the hundreds. And provided you pay the $25 mint fee, you will basically own the rights to that NFT. So,
and I pulled this up real quick. V-Boxers we used to have to pay for our own hosting credits to host those. Hosting's not going to be necessary on the new platform. And if you bought a V-Box, you are going to be allowed to stake an additional 20 tokens, because it was kind of like a long-term. The V-Boxes weren't cheap, and it was a long-term thing. So as a reward, they're going to allow you to stake 20 debt tokens in a wallet in addition to the 5. So that would be 25 on that, which is pretty massive, to be honest. So,
yeah, and just imagine, when there's 1 million wallets out there with 5 debt tokens staked, there's no sell-off pressure taking place for those 12 months. And, like Jason Anderson's always shared, whatever the debt token price goes up in value, all other projects will rise 2.5 to 3x greater. So, may not be seeing that on some of the other projects right now, because, there's more sell-off pressure taking place on some of the other projects, where most of the people that are buying the debt token right now, they're not selling anything. So,
and let's Terry, I'm going to move over to you on this one. So there's some basics, there's some things you got to know, you got to do. We got some advantages here. Let's now here's the thing that I think will help everybody here is, we're not going to tell you ever what to do. We might just tell you what we're doing, because there's a difference, right? Like, I never tell anybody what they should do with their money, because it's their money. And, I learned that the hard way a long time ago. I literally, I think I bought insurance from some guy, and I paid way too much for it. And then I got all mad. And And I literally, it was kind of a funny story. It was in prayer. I was all mad at this guy I went to church with because I paid this money and then I needed it back. And it was like a kind where you would invest and you could take it out a certain years later. But I needed the money at the time because I'd lost the business or whatever. And I got all mad and I was just uppity. And I called the guy and I ripped him a new one. And I felt all happy about it. And I remember it just felt like God told me, he said, "Hey, you're the one who made that decision, not that guy." Like, deal with it. And I was like, oh, I called the guy back and apologized. I go, "Hey, you're right. That's a big boy lesson that I had to learn." And I was like, all right, well, let's move on. So speaking of which, Terry, we have the opportunity right now. So now I need you to, now we're going to expand on this, right? As to the significance of the new projects that are about to come on, what that could potentially do to the price, and then like where people should, what you're going to maybe do to position yourself properly. If you want to go on that, and Jason, if you want to jump in after that, go ahead. So Terry, I'm gonna go solo on you on this one. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm seeing some questions pop up, so I'm going to try and take those on just on the brief end. So recap: you are going to stake 5 tokens per wallet. You are allowed to have more than one wallet. If you don't have a Vbox, for example, and you wanted to stake 10 debt tokens, you can have 10 wallets, right? 10 tokens staked in 2 separate wallets. Now, what's important and significant for everyone to understand, though, is that is going to come with a $25 minting fee per license. This is not someone trying to rip you off. There is a very distinct reason for it. We can or not get into it today. I'd be speculating a little, but I think I have a very good idea of why that is, but we don't need to touch on that right now. There's a reason. Someone's not trying to take something from you. Okay, so the whole idea is that we need to get the word out to get all of these licenses into people's hands and get everyone with wallets and staking tokens, because the liquidity pools that are coming from these L2 projects do not commence until all of the NFTs for that project are staked, which means we all collectively as an ecosystem share in the responsibility of helping as many people as we can. And why that's important? Why? Because 2 days ago, Debtcoin was $10, meaning it required $50. Now, $50 may not be a lot to you, but $50 if you live in Nigeria is probably a lot of money. But $50 would allow them to at least have the opportunity to be able to stake on these new projects. Now, people want to know what's the token supply, what's the NFT supply, what all that is. Here's a summary for you. What you're essentially going to get when you stake debt tokens is you're going to get an option. It's like an options contract. Every wallet's going to get an airdrop, an options contract. You have the option to exercise your right to this NFT. It will then become a first come, first served basis, right? You lock in your NFT, you are now mining for the whole year. But if you don't exercise that option and the NFTs expire, you lost that option even if you have your debt coin staked. Now, this is exciting. It's amazing. That means we're going to dramatically expand our mining capacity and everyone's going to win. We're going to get to participate in a huge swath of L2 projects in all kinds of industries across different countries and continents. And we're going to get, a piece of the action, if you will. It's pretty exciting. And they're all going to have similar debt-based tokenomics to them, right? So that's all very exciting. However, when deciding upon how many wallets you want to stake 5 debt tokens in, let me just make sure this is abundantly clear. If you have one wallet with a Vbox, all right, and your spouse has one other wallet, let's say just 2 wallets and you were all staking as many debt coins as you could, that would be 30. Now, if 100 new projects come on board and you've got 30, right, and we can mishmash those numbers, 75 projects, 100 projects, 25 projects. However you start doing the math, you quickly get up into 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 in minting fee expenses. So it costs almost nothing per project, which is enthralling, right? Think of it as dollar cost averaging down the amount you pay to participate in the mining process in the early days, right? We're dollar cost averaging down. Right, so those old licenses were still valuable, taking the price down. That's amazing. But most of us, mere mortals, are going to be dependent upon massive price appreciation on things like the debt coin for us to be able to have the ability to pay all of those minting expenses, right? So a lot of people in real practical terms are probably going to be thrilled with the idea of being able to mint just one more NFT per project every time a new one comes up. If they can at least put one new one in their wallet and participate and get exposure, this is going to get very exciting. Again, so you have an options contract being dropped in. You have the option to exercise the NFT. Some projects will have 250,000. Some projects might only have 50,000 NFTs. And once they're gone, right? Now, the main purpose behind this, friends, listen, the reason why the price is going to explode is that because all of the debt coin, almost the entire supply, is already locked up or about to be locked up, right? The L2 projects that come on board, they have to lock up large amounts of debt token. Every person who's got a wallet's going to lock up 5, 30, 50, 100 debt tokens, right? And then some people are going to keep it in the wings. But if you know where debt coin's going, even if you're not staking it for the purpose of minting NFTs, you're probably still going to hold on to those debt coins because they're going to do extremely well in price, right? When you have floods of money, big money coming into the ecosystem, right? And there's only a small amount of coins available floating on the open market to absorb what's coming in, the price goes crazy. It's just math. It's not me predicting it. This is not me guaranteeing it. It's just explaining to you how the math works. When you see that the total debt coin supply is 50 million, it's really not 50 million. It's going to be more like 2, right? And so things are about to get crazy. I could rant about this in a huge way. There's some other really exciting things I'd love to get into, but I'm going to hit the pause button and pass the mic over for anyone else who wants to chime in.
Jason, you have any 2 cents on that?
No, that was awesome. I'm just, I'm sitting here doing the math and just thinking, what is the debt token price going to be after that 12-month that those tokens are staked? Let's say it's $200, for example, just throwing a random number out there. Why would you sell those debt tokens, for the next 12 months of NFTs, year 2, basically?
And I've asked you this a couple times, and Terry probably expand on too. Is I was talking. I had lunch with the guy today, and he was asking me some stuff, and I was going over it and see if I deciphered some of the cryptic stuff that comes through some of the Telegram group. Is when companies are going to tokenize, which is the new thing, like almost every company that will probably be tokenized in one way, shape, or form around the world in the next 10 years. Like it's the new internet. It's bigger than, it's 100-fold what the internet will be because of it being what it is. Companies are going to be able to come in, and this could do something, probably wink, wink to the price, is when they decide to tokenize, they have to take and they buy a specific amount of debt token, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they buy that, it's staked, so they stake it in there, right? So that company. Well, if we had 100 companies come in that had to buy, because we're estimating some of these projects that they've already shared are coming in and they have to purchase what, 2 million, 5 million, $10 million worth of debt token.
Mm-hmm.
And they buy $10 million worth of debt token and they lock it up. And then another company comes in and buys $10 million worth of debt token. Another one buys 5 million. Another one buys, and they're staking all of that. That means that the buying pressure is going like this, right? Way up.
Like this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not angled. It's probably going like this, right? It's going straight up. Now here's the thing, because I saw this and I was thinking of this. Back to Elon Musk. Not that we were on him, but Elon Musk. What's his company? What's his company called?
Tesla.
Tesla, and he had PayPal, right? He showed the majority of their wealth for his company was in cryptocurrency because of the way the company had bought when the tokens of Bitcoin were down in the low ballpark area, and they bought a bunch and they kept escalating and escalating and escalating. Well, a company can show that on their sheets, correct? So, okay, so Terry, I can see you grinning, and I think you got drool coming down your mouth there, Terry, because you're so, yeah, right. If I'm not mistaken, what I'm understanding is that companies, let's say 100 companies come in this year, which will probably be 100 in the next 60 days. But let's say 100 companies come in and they lock up millions of dollars worth of tokens. So the price is going to go vertical, right? Potentially go vertical. What's going to happen when the next 100 companies come in and lock up their tokens to the first 100 that came in, right? So now I honestly, because I was talking to my friend, and he comes from a big traditional business, and he runs he's in charge of I think it's a multi-billion-dollar trucking company, blah, blah, blah. And he was looking at me, and I go, the way I see it is some of these companies are probably going to come in, tokenize their companies, and just the assets that they've set aside in that token could potentially be bigger than what their companies are bringing in. And let me bring this around. If that's the case, can companies get collateralized loans to build their businesses with assets that are staked that have proof of? Help me out here.
Yeah, Mike, you know why I'm drooling about this, right? It's like in the group I was talking with this, I was calling it the Saylor Tesla effect, right? Like these guys have figured out that just using Bitcoin as an example, that they're making more money by being in that space than they are the entire rest of their company operations. So a lot of people are always asking this, like, well, why would someone just come in and be on debt chain and tokenize it and have to commit to royalties and, to some degree, give away a percentage of their business, so to speak? What's the benefit for them? There's the technology, there's transparency on chain, there's all kinds of great stuff, but they get to participate in the price appreciation. But it goes so much farther beyond that. I see our time's tickets. I won't elaborate too much, but suffice to say,
we're good. We're good. I'll tell you when I go to bed around 9, so I'll cut you off when I'm too tired.
I know what your bedtime is, Mikey. We're good. But these companies can now come in and participate on the upside of what's happening with Jetcoin, right? So they come in front end and stake the millions. But what's also happening, and most people have not heard about this or maybe not clear about it, is the initial $2 million is actually a loan from a bank to reduce that onboarding friction, right? And then some of them have more requirements that are required depending on the size of the business and the model, which is where we're going to benefit, but where they're also going to benefit. Right. So now that money gets locked up, but it starts to dramatically increase in price. Right. When that happens for them, what happens in operational profits in a business, you've got tax implications and all this other crap. Right. But the way the wealthy really operate, the best thing you could ever do is use OPM, other people's money. So what happens is they got these locked up state contracts. Right. And the coins in value just keep going up. They're able to take a loan out against that money, have no taxable event, and get access to monstrous amounts of capital. All of this is going to equate to far more money than pretty much any business activity they could ever be in, regardless of what business that they're in, right? And so the incentives, and we're just scraping the surface of the incentives for these companies to come on board, right? But as they keep eating away at these almost non-existent tokens in the marketplace, the price goes insane. One of the number one crypto metrics that people track, if you go on any YouTube channel where they're looking at Bitcoin and they're on Glassnode and they're looking at on-chain metrics, they want to know how much Bitcoin is actually on an exchange right now that's not locked away in a hard wallet. How much is actually available for trading on an open exchange, right? Because that's going to have a huge impact on the price, because a lot of that stuff is essentially locked away. There's people who've locked away millions of Bitcoin are like, I'm not touching this till 2030, right? They know where it's going. When the supply gets locked up, the price goes crazy. So this is what's happening right now, friends. And I'm only scratching the surface here. Okay, the 25, let me take that question. listen, when the 1 year thing comes up for those stake tokens, everyone's going to have to cross, the Rubicon. And there's some of these details that are not out. So don't quote me if I misspoke, right? But as I currently understand it is this. One is, let's say over the next 6 months, you're one of those paper hand types and you see the price go from where we are right now at $16, which is pretty exciting. But what happens when it gets to 100 and you bought at $3? What happens when it gets to 500 or 1,000? There may be some temptation to sell. Sorry, staking it is like a CD, certificate of deposit at a bank, old school bank. You locked it in. You cannot touch that. Everyone gets forced not to touch that. In the first year, all of a sudden we are at, I'm picking a number out of the sky, friends. I'm not promising you anything here, but we're at $10,000 at the end of your first year of staking. Are you sure you don't have a little FOMO to see what happens next year? You're really just going to unstake all your 5 and just toss them away? You're watching the maturity of all of your L2 projects, right? Let's just say there was 100 of them and you stake just 1 per project. You're mining 100 new projects and there's great news coming out of all of them. The tokenomics are maturing. Everything's going great. The reason why you're not seeing Nat G rise right now, I saw some questions about Nat G. The reason why you're not seeing Nat G rise it because it's not paired to Debtcoin until V2, right? But V2, like we're right around the corner of V2. I can't tell you the date and the time, but we are right around the corner. And then all those side tokens, the altcoins, the L2 coins, however you want to look at it, are going to go 3 times faster, as Jason talked about earlier. So you're watching this upward nonstop spiral trajectory happening with all your coins and tokens. And at the end of the staking, you're going to be like, oh, do I got on stake? Well, let me guess, there's a $20 fee. Are you really going to care about any of these details? Do you see anybody really just going to walk away? I don't know if there's a reminting fee. I don't know. There may be, but if there is, I'll happily pay it. And if you don't like it, don't worry. There'll be someone who'll be very happy to take that NFT off your hands. All right, that was a long rant. Hit the pause button.
That was great, though. I love it when you rant. Jason, I'm going to ask you this question because me learning tokenomics and crypto and stuff like that, Jason has always been real patient, and he's helped a lot of you guys. In case you didn't know it, Jason is you can actually get set up with Jason if you need to, and he charges a couple bucks to do it. But he'll walk you through setting up your accounts, things like that, if you don't know how to do it. So if you really want that hands-on, it's totally worth it. I've had a bunch of people I've sent him to, and it's awesome. But here's what question it came up with me. So I'm learning this, and I'm having conversations with Jason, and I'm saying, okay, Jason, explain this to me like I'm 6. If I buy tokens now and they appreciate, so they go up in price, but I know they might go up farther, and how do I get any money? Like, how do I live? Because otherwise I'm just I'm a bazillionaire on paper, but I can't pay my bills. It doesn't make any sense. And you told me about a thing that most cryptos have now, and we'll probably be privy to, is Jason, explain what collateralized loans mean.
Yeah.
In this space.
Yeah. You basically lock up, from what I understand, you basically lock up the tokens and or the NFTs. So each token and NFT combined, whatever that value is, you can get a collateralized loan against it that you can then determine at a later date to settle. So like, for example, Bitcoin, if I put up, let's say $10,000 worth of Bitcoin as collateral, I don't know what the percentage is. Terry may know, but you could take a percentage. A bank will give you a loan based off a percentage of that $10,000 that's staked, that you can then use that money to pay bills, compound into more assets, more tokens, more projects, and so forth. So that's our initial plan, because we really don't want to sell any debt project tokens at all, because it's a deflationary tokenization, and it's just in our opinion, it's just going to keep going up over time. So why would you want to sell any tokens if you could just take a loan against your portfolio? So we heard that's in the works at some point, and so that's our initial plan.
That's insane. Terry, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, that's amazing, right? It's not just the plan for the L2 projects, it's also the plan for us asset holders within the ecosystem, right? It probably won't come until the court case is settled. But like I said, the SEC's got about 36 hours left to respond, and the judge could take action this week. And if they don't, I don't think it's very far down the road at this point. This I don't see this getting dragged out. Hopefully we're not wrong on that. We are speculating, but that's how I see it. But loan, if you know that loans are coming against your assets, why would you ever want to sell them, right? If your NATG is going to $1, the hell would you sell it for fractions of a penny like some of the sellers are doing right now? That's called the lifetime of regret. That's going to be you laying on a sidewalk someday with a big kick me sign, living just with endless regret, right? Like don't do it. And even if let's say it gets to $1 in the next 18 months. My question to you still is, if you can get collateralized loans against your assets, why would you ever sell it? By the way, who here has read the light papers? Have you guys read the light papers? You guys
I've read most of them.
You've heard of the Treasury in Debtbox? Have you guys all heard of the Treasury in Debtbox? Right. The purpose of the Treasury is very different in Debtbox than it is in normal crypto projects. Usually in normal crypto projects, you've got VCs that are on board, you've got developers, you've got owners, you've got corporations, you've got lots of mouths to feed, lots of VCs that want their money back. And what happens eventually is they have a token unlocking or vesting schedule, if you will, and those tokens get dumped on all of their supporters, right? They take their profits up at a high end and you get your prices dumped down, and that really hurts the ecosystem. But the council's done something very, very brilliant in this case. The Treasury is not for them. The Treasury is for us as an ecosystem. It is an asset to the ecosystem. It's tokens that literally by contract can never be sold, but are going up in value just like everything else is going, right? So what's going to happen, what's already happened, and what's already commenced this week, and it's not yet into fruition that you and I can see, but it's already commenced this week, is that there's loans being given out against the Treasury. So imagine X number of percentage of all the licenses and all the projects and all the tokens that have been mining since inception are sitting in an account that can never be sold. The banks know it can never be sold, but it is an asset that's accessible, right? It's there, it's tangible, it's measurable. They're going to give loans against that. And that amount of money is going to come into the ecosystem, go into the trust account, get divided up into the projects. And that's going to be the rising tide that lifts all boats. But guess what happens? In all collateralized loans, like in crypto, as the value continues to go up and up and up, it essentially, in all practical terms, evaporates the first loan, right? You take a loan out when the price is only 1,000, but now it hits 20,000. That 1,000 loan is just so easy to pay off. It's negligible loan, right? And so the trust takes a loan on the Treasury. It pumps it up. The trust accounts get this big supercharge. So the trust keeps buying. This nonstop, endless spiral of prices and value go up. They go back to the banks and say, hey, look at the current value now. It was 1 billion last year. It's now 5 billion 6 months later. And they say, okay, we'll give you a loan against the 5 billion. And then the money pumps into the ecosystem, supercharges it, and then it's 10 billion. And they go back, so look, we got a $10 billion thing. And they give them an even bigger loan. And this nonstop, endless spiral goes, right? And by the way, for those who are still saying, why would a company join this thing, right? Why would a company? I sit back and I think, my logical mind says, that's why they're going to do it. I mean, they're probably all being encouraged to create their own treasury that they can go loan against. Do you see how this works? Now they've got more assets and more cash flow in their pocket, no taxable events, no problems, and massive incentive and an upward nonstop price pressure. And then they've got a loaning facility there ready to make them whole and give them all the cash flow that they need, just like they're going to do for you and I. So people keep asking, like, when's the exit? There isn't an exit in my mind. Like, there is no exit. If you sell a small bit here and there for a very distinct purpose, I mean, maybe. But the idea is just going to exit to try and cash out your profits and give up all your future assets. Wealthy people, my friends, let me clue you in. Wealthy people don't sell their cash producing, cash flowing, appreciating assets. They don't do it. They continuously loan against them over and over in an endless cycle. The yacht gets a loan. That loan buys the helicopter. There's a loan against the helicopter. That loan goes to buy the mansion. That mansion gets a loan against it. It goes to buy the house in the Caymans and so on and so forth. They're not selling those assets. So take a page out of their notes, my friend. So, all right, there we go. I'm ranting again. I apologize.
I love it. I love it. Hey, real quick, this question's come up and I'm going to pop it up. In case you guys need help with anything, on this slide that I just pulled in front of the screen, there's a link at the very top. It says mynodes.click/debt. If you actually click on that, or not click on it, but if you write that down, take a screenshot or whatever, mynodes.click/debt. At the bottom of that website is how you can schedule a meeting with Jason if you need help. Jason Bowdle here. So if you need help with anything, that's where you want to go to get that done. Let me just double check that I wanted to make sure there was another. And then again, there's the Debt Army Insider Info Telegram QR code in case you got on late. Take a screenshot of that, or pause the recording of this, or go back to the recording and take a screenshot, or you know, if you know how to do a QR code on here and so on. I'm still blown away after kind of starting to understand that these companies are going to be able to come in, tokenize, buy up millions of dollars worth of debt, and then the next 100 are going to come in and buy up debt, and the next 100 are going to come in and buy up debt, and the next 100 are going to come in and buy up debt. And I mean, they're all going to be locking this stuff up. Like right now, debt tokens at a fire sale price. Like, I mean, hypothetically, could you, if you knew then what you know now, that's what I'm trying to think of, about Bitcoin, when it launched, if I'm not mistaken, it was in what, 2008 or 2010, the price at one point was 0.00008 cents. Like $100, if you would have bought $100 worth of Bitcoin when it was that price point, does people have any idea what that would look like in their bank account right now? Like, it's just, and we're looking at it like we're potentially on the fringe of something like that, because what's nice is when you present this business model to business people, this makes sense. They want to protect their assets. They want to have something that they can get collateralized loans on. They want to have something they can show on their books that is more profitable. I mean, like we were sitting in the restaurant today, and I was like, if this company right here went and tokenized, locked up coins, and then another 100 companies came in and did the same, and another 100 more, and another 100 more, this guy a year later, the tokens that he just bought from his thing he's going to be able to do whatever he wants to this restaurant. Jason, am I right? I know we've been talking over you because Jason likes to sit back in the shadows, right? That's why he's got the dim light going on. I'll give you a lava lamp here in a second, Surf Boy. Jason surfs all the time. Half the time, every time I call him, he's out surfing. I just got done surfing. Okay, Spicoli. Give us your 2 cents on this.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I can't wrap my head around this, because even like our licenses, we're mining thousands of tokens per day. And just imagine, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, what the values are going to be. And that doesn't mention all the other new projects that are coming out. And it's just absolutely mind blowing. I mean, and we've probably only been shared just a little bit of information about Debtbox. And I have a feeling that there's so much more out there that's going on behind the scenes that we don't even know. And I think Debtbox has really positioned themselves very well to make a real change, to every household across the world. So it's just, the biggest thing I can say is, get plugged into the Telegram channels, get familiar with the Debt Insider, podcast videos in there, and just learn as much as you can, as quick as you can. And, help your family and friends get wallets set up. If I'm sure many of you have been able to acquire a lot of free NFTs, in the last month or so. So if you can help another person, and then they help their friends and family members, and let's just get these NFTs, these micros, these wallets set up for as many people as we can across the world. And yeah.
And real quick, because it just popped out of my head, because I know we take for granted that people know some of the stuff we talk about, is when somebody buys an NFT slash a license, what that's doing is that is like you turning on a little machine that begins to what they call mine tokens. So the tokens are the rewards, because on the blockchain, it's just a kind of a point, like a toll booth, that a transaction happens. And if it goes through your toll booth, because you activated it, you're getting a reward for it. So here's the cool part is you can buy tokens, and you'll be able to probably buy tokens of any of these projects that come out. But when you have an NFT slash a license, it's like having, so the token is the golden egg, but the NFTs are the golden goose that's laying these things. So you have the ability to not only buy the tokens, but hold an asset that's making the tokens. That's what people, that's sometimes hard to even grasp. And when I started to, Patrick, I totally understand. I'm giddy too, as you can probably tell. I mean, it's just, it literally keeps you up at night when you start thinking about this. Like sometimes I just don't tell my wife, Stacy, anymore about this. She's probably tired of hearing me talk about it. She's like, well, let me see, and I'm like, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle what you're about to see. So, because I mean, I'm not crazy. I think I'm semi-smart at business and just going through all this and studying it over I've only been studying this. I mean, I got dabbled into crypto maybe the last 2 years, but this last year has been as much as I can stick in my skull, and then have guys like you be able to share it. And that's why I keep doing these lives, because it's a way for me to just ask you guys questions publicly and help other people. And as we spread this ecosystem to people, I mean, geez, people right now, somebody just posted, get debt coin, debt token is $16. It's not hard to get 5 of those right now, but in a month, it's going to be different probably.
Oh, yeah.
In 6 months, it's going to be way different. And people are like, oh, you got to get 5 debt tokens. Well, what happens if the debt token is $50,000? Have fun trying to stake 5 of those at the point, right? Like that's what you have. You have the ability to, they call it in crypto terms, stacking bags, right? Like of what you have right now that you could set up yourself, and you could probably set up some of your family members for life. I mean, we're talking potentially generational stuff, and I mean, it's again, it's crypto stuff. You just never know. But I mean, I've been hearing people tell me, and I mean, there's people that are still kicking and screaming that crypto's not real. It's going away. It's a fad. And people said the exact same things about the car, the television, the internet, and now, so here's what I do know. And this, I never forgot this from 28 years ago. A guy named Paul Orbison, who was a direct selling guy that I remember that I really looked up to. He was from Kentucky. And he said something in a presentation one time, and he said, never take financial advice from someone you don't want to be like financially. And all of the players that I see that are in this crypto space, and the people that I'm seeing in the Telegram channels that are showing us millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff that they are putting together and having and ready. These are the types of people that I want to listen to and follow, because success leaves clues. And I think that's where we're at. So, gentlemen, we've been on here for just about an hour. Give us some closing remarks if you want to. Jason, we'll start with you, and then I'll go to Terry, and then I'll close it out.
Yeah, like I said, biggest thing is get plugged in on the Telegram channels. Try to stay active. If you are a debt ecosystem member, make sure you're checking the community section of your debt app for any updates that come out as far as staking your current licenses that you have on the new V2 system. And yeah, like I shared, Debt Insider app. Start watching videos, and yeah, just reach out if we can help with anything.
Excellent.
And
Terry, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of us, the debt app will be non-existent here shortly. I don't know when that time frame is. So most of us are creating the SafePal wallet app, where we're importing our debt seed words, and that's where we're also creating an additional wallets. Once you do that, you then can connect your SafePal debt wallet to the new version 2 desktop site, which is the new Debtbox site. So yeah, just reach out if you guys need help with that. The Debt Inside Army channel also has some step-by-step screenshots. We also have a list of things that we're doing in order with links and so forth. So yeah, come join us, plug in, and thanks for having me.
No problem. And I make sure everybody get people to watch this replay because it's automatically recorded on the YouTube channel. You can share the exact same link that you joined with, or if you're on Facebook, you can tag somebody in the comments below to get them to watch it. Terry, give us some last words, bud.
Guys, it wasn't that long ago when people were chomping at the bit to get Bitcoin at 16K. That felt like Christmasdom. But imagine what it would have been like to get Bitcoin at $16, right? No one can predict the future. I don't care where it is. I don't care if the debt council misses their goal by 99%. We are still going to have our lives completely altered at missing the goal by 99%. But what if? I ask you just this: what if we do, as a community, succeed and we do beat Bitcoin to 100K, and you still got to buy at $16? It is not going to stay at $16, guys. On the most absolutely wildest, most conservative side ever, tens of millions of dollars are on the way right around the corner, literally, right? So you need to make whatever moves you need to make, but more importantly, like we keep saying, help your friends and family. If you guys want to see all this explosion that we're talking about, it is dependent upon those NFTs getting fully staked, or the liquidity does not come in. That means we need millions of new wallet holders. We cannot stake all the NFTs ourselves. Me, Jay, and Mike would love to stake them all, but unfortunately, we're going to run out of funds as well. We're human, but we need millions of people with these wallets staking 5 tokens. They benefit tremendously. We benefit tremendously. Okay, it's super important. There are 3 major flywheel effects that are about to kick in that are going to like just take this ecosystem by storm. Number 1, you've got everything is going to be paired to Debtcoin any day now, proverbial any day now, right? And that means a rising tide is going to lift all boats. Secondly, we might get the biggest PR storm you've ever seen when the SEC screws this up royally, and that's probably going to at least commence this week. That's going to be huge and might go on for long extended periods of time. When everyone in crypto on YouTube is forced to talk about what is going on, it is going to bring so many eyeballs. Why not have your friends and family and their wallets stake, their eyeballs and their wallets and their futures in front of that tsunami that's coming, right? And then, like I told you earlier about this whole leverage of the treasury, my friends, that's about to start, right? And the sellers just got cut off. We're going into some halvings. The people who are mining are going to be mining even more tokens than they were before. There's so many exciting things happening, and the sellers just got cut out. You're about to see an explosion. Get your friends and family in front of this. Get out of your comfort zone. We all have a mutual collective responsibility of making that happen. So I would love to tell all kinds of other stuff to you guys. And I'm sure we'll twist Mikey's arm so we're not live, too long in the future, but we'll get back on here. We'll share some more exciting details. I'm so excited for all of you. Soon, I hope that the only time you go into bed and losing sleep is because it's the anxiety of the excitement of what's to come versus the anxiety of the struggle, right? I think we're about to flip that switch, and I'll take that missed sleep any day.
Awesome. Real quick, guys, just so you know, you can check out all the pricing on dexscreener.com. That's DEX That's what this graph is right here. That's where I took this screenshot. All you have to do is type in the search, just type in debt, and you'll see it. It will pop up. And if you type in debt again, you will see all the other projects below it. Bev, Black Gold, DCM, Rev. I'm not going to name them all. And you'll be able to go in and track these things and look at it. And like I said, I mean, I took this screenshot about probably an hour before I jumped on here, and it was $15.40. People are saying already that we're at 16, a little over 16 bucks for where we're at right now. So did everybody enjoy this? I mean, I did. I had a great time with you guys as usual. I always get a lot of great information on here. Put it in the comments, whether you're watching this replay or whatever, still put it in there. It's always good to get things out there. And if you want, you're welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case I pop some stuff out there. Also, make sure you to go to mynodes.click/debt. And I do have some videos on there that will show you how to swap tokens in your debt wallet, like, take Tether and buy, USDT and buy something else with it, buy debt coin and so on. And not giving financial advice, but you heard what we were talking about here, why we're excited. And I think we've got some genuine enthusiasm. Awesome show tonight, guys. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Great stuff. You guys can see these coming in too, so you can read them off just so you guys know. Everybody does appreciate everything we just got done covering. Outstanding. Thank you guys so much. And so, yeah, share this with your friends. I think we covered a lot here. And, you might just tell them, hey, fast forward about 5 minutes to get to some of the housekeeping. But if they really get to this and they start to understand it, and just understand, to set up wallets is free. Doesn't cost anything anybody to get a wallet. You go get a SafePal wallet, and then you can start, shortly you'll be able to just go right on there and buy tokens, buy crypto of whatever we have, whatever that kind of stuff is, and then start minting NFTs and projects. I mean, how am I going to go to sleep tonight? What am I going to do? I have to go take a cold plunge. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go take a cold plunge before I go to bed. I'm going to take a cold shower or a cold plunge, and that'll help me get right to sleep. So awesome. So yeah, so thank you guys. Thanks everybody for jumping on YouTube on here. I got a lot on YouTube and on my Facebook channel, and you guys are obviously probably shared it too as well. So I am going to shut this off. You guys stay right there because I'm gonna have a conversation with you guys. Everybody wave to the gentleman right here. Say goodbye. Say thank you to these guys. Really appreciated everything. Awesome. Everybody have a great one.